Hey everyone, Nathaniel here with Beginner Food, and in today's video we're talking about non-alcoholic drinks. We're going to talk about how to make them better. We're going to treat them just like they're cocktails. But before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe right below, and let's dive in. Alright, so the first kind of non-alcoholic drinks we're going to talk about are going to be what I'm calling steeped drinks. So you got your coffee and your tea. It can be hot, it can be cold, but these are really going to be things where you're going to have a little bit of bitter flavor, and in the case of tea specifically, it's going to be a little bit weaker. It's going to be a little bit harder to put mixers in there without overpowering it too much. So we'll talk about that specifically. So let's start off with coffee. It can be hot or it can be cold. Doesn't matter what roast you're doing. The main things you're going to be mixing into here that are non-alcoholic are going to be dairy products. And that doesn't just mean the only thing you can put in there is going to be milk, cream, and sugar. Let's take those as really categories of things we can put into it, and then we can add in more flavors. So you think about, like, what is a pumpkin spice latte? They're basically adding milk in, but that milk is going to be flavored, and we can do the same thing. You can actually flavor your milk with spices. You can even flavor it, maybe not for your coffee, with fruits. You can flavor it with chocolate, such as the case of a mocha. And really, anything that can go into dairy really can kind of combine with your coffee flavor. So if you think about a lot of desserts, that's a really good example there. All right, tea is going to give us a few more options than coffee will. The roasted flavor of coffee really only lends well to, again, dairy and sweeter or spicy preparations. Tea really runs the gamut really far. There are teas that taste basically like fruit juice, and there are teas that taste basically like coffee. There's also a bunch of weird teas that taste kind of like mushrooms, and some that taste like dirt. So we got a big, long spectrum when it comes to tea. We can do anything that we can do with coffee with tea. A lot of milk teas you guys will be familiar with, served with tapioca or boba, are going to be a really common mixer for your tea. But we can also do juices. If we were to put some juice in with our tea, we would also end up with something like, say, in Arnold Palmer is a half tea, half juice preparation. Something we didn't talk about is using tea and coffee together. There actually is a brand of mixed coffee tea. It's called Tajava. It is, we'll say, it's an acquired taste for some. If you really like coffee, you really like tea, it'll probably be for you. But outside of that, tea really will enable you to mix anything you want into it. The only thing you want to be careful of is overpowering the flavor. Tea flavors are really delicate, and so you're going to either want to make sure you do a really strong batch of tea or even reduce down the tea. So let some of that water actually turn into steam, reduce it down, concentrate the flavor. Make yourself a tea concentrate and then mix it into something. All right, next we have juices. Juices are going to be coming from fruits, and in some cases you can get them from vegetables too, like carrot juice, for example, or cucumber water. Juices are, for the most part, gonna have more sugar in them, and you're gonna get a lot of flavors that are gonna be on the tart side of the spectrum. So a lot of fruits have citric acid in it. That's what makes it tart. And so as far as mixers are going, we're looking for things that complement that. Other fruits, really good example, fizzy soda waters, club soda, tonic, ginger ale, Sprite, all those kinds of things will mix really well with a fruit juice. Now, you can obviously mix certain fruit juices with things like dairy. If you think of a strawberry milkshake, for example, strawberries and cream, that's a really good example of a fruit mixed with a dairy. So fruit juices, for the most part, you're looking at other fruits, other vegetables, other herbs that are going to complement the fruit there, but you can actually mix it with both the tea and with the dairy. Don't necessarily recommend mixing it with the coffee, though I'm sure somebody has before. As a subset to our juices, we kind of have like the family of smoothies. That's really just going to be a juice mix that's been blended with ice and sometimes dairy products as well. So you have your juice mixes, and then your smoothies are going to be juice mixes on ice or somehow frozen. And finally, we've got our dairy category. So that's going to be milk and things like almond milk, coconut milk, milk alternatives. So milk alternatives, cream, all those are going to go in our dairy camp. And really, most of the time when you see milk combined with other things, it's going to come from these other sections. Now, you can also get milk just on its own mixed with things like spices. Horchata is really popular as a drink down here in San Diego. It's basically going to be rice milk with some cinnamon and spice. So basically milk plus spice. As far as milk goes, we also have a subcategory that we're going to call milkshakes. Just like how we had with smoothies, it's going to be a juice mix plus ice is a smoothie. We're going to take a milk mix plus ice and we get a milkshake. All right, so now that you know at least what we're going to be going over for our 4 main categories of non-alcoholic drink, let's talk about what we can mix into them as if they were cocktails. So a lot of the times, virgin drinks like this without alcohol can be a little underwhelming, and that's really just because we don't treat them the same or with the same care that we do our cocktails. If we were doing say a craft simple syrup with cardamom, for example, in our coffee, it's going to be a lot more fancy than if we just put sugar in there, or if we just put pumpkin spice in there. With our tea, same thing there. If we are, say, going to add some rose petals to our tea mix to give it a floral note, and then maybe add some strawberry or lychee in there as well, we can start adding in mixers to our non-alcoholic drinks with the same kind of complexity and care that we do with our alcoholic ones. With our juices over here, we can definitely do fresh fruits, but something that you don't see a lot is zest. Rarely do you see somebody putting zest into a virgin fruit drink. Don't know why, it's a great idea because that's where all the fruit flavor comes from, especially for those citrus juices. Getting those essential oils from the rind of a lemon or a grapefruit is a great way to add more depth to your drink. And of course, with our milkshakes and milk-based drinks, sky's the limit as far as types of ice cream you can mix together with dairy. I think everybody's got a favorite milkshake combination. Definitely let us know your favorite down in the comments below. But I think that one we're all pretty familiar with as far as options. All right, another thing that we definitely want to make sure you're thinking about when you're preparing your next non-alcoholic drink is garnishing. Just like how you rarely see a craft syrup with a non-alcoholic drink, you rarely see a lot of effort put in towards garnishing a non-alcoholic drink. So whether you're just putting in a sprig of mint, a slice of strawberry, maybe a wheel of lemon, or like we said earlier, a little bit of lemon zest, think about garnishing your non-alcoholic drink to add in, again, that extra level of flavor and complexity that you would be doing as if it was an alcoholic one. So hopefully you learned something about non-alcoholic drinks and got some new ideas for ways to combine either your favorite base here, whether it be coffee, juice, dairy, could be anything. Let us know what kind of drink are you going to be putting together next. No alcohol, but we want to see it be just as thoughtful. I'm Nathaniel from Beginner Food. Make sure you like and subscribe below, and we'll see you in the next video.